Hello. I have some errands that I'm going to be running today, and I also have my pre-checklist for the holiday. So I thought, well, let's pull out that crock pot, let's get some things into it, and let's have a delicious meal for this evening. So I'm going to prepare an easy, like 5 to 6 ingredient crock pot meal that we're going to put together. It has country ribs, and then I think off to the side I may actually put together some pork and beans, some potato salad, and just have one of those fun meals tonight. Now I'm going to give my ribs a little cleaning, just a little. I'm going to sprinkle them with a little bit of baking soda and give them a quick rub down. You'll notice that I'm using the bag that I got from the grocery, and I'm going to use that and give them just a good rub down. Use that as a glove and rub these ribs down. Flip them over. Rub the other side. And once we've done that, then we'll take the time to give them a good rinse. There we go. Give them a good rinse with some cool water and place them into a crock pot. Now in my crock pot, I already have a half an onion that I've sliced. Let me throw this away. That I've sliced and diced. I've got cool water. Get my tongs. Get the crock pot open and ready to go. Tonight's budget-friendly meal is planned around an affordable protein source, as well as around sales and some of those seasonal ingredients. And keep in mind that we want to make sure that we are using our pantry wisely and creatively. And when we have a chance, we'll try to repurpose a few things along the way. And you know what? Those things that we purchase, like our fresh vegetables, make sure that they don't go to waste. Use them in everything that you possibly can so that they're never a waste product. I thought country ribs would be easier. It's just the two of us, and they'll cook. They'll be ready by this evening, and literally, they will fall apart. All right, let's rinse the hands. Rinse just in case. You know, you have to be careful when you're handling meat. Be somewhat cautious. Well, you know, it's not scary. It's just a matter of making sure that you follow protocol. And the protocol is, if you're going to wash your meat, you got to make sure you clean up everything. So, I keep vinegar, Dawn dishwashing liquid, and just a touch of water in a bottle just for these occasions all the time. And we're ready to go. Now let's do a little seasoning up of these ribs. All right, here are the items that we're going to be using today. We're starting out with my house seasoning. You'll want to have some Sweet Baby Ray, whatever flavor of Sweet Baby Ray that you like. I'm using some smoked paprika because I want a smoky smell. If you have any hickory smoke or something like that, liquid smoke, you can certainly add that instead, but paprika nonetheless. I like Leon Perrin's Worcestershire sauce, and I'm also going to add a little bit of the coconut aminos because they add a little extra protein. I'm also going to put in some Montreal steak seasoning, just a touch, and a little bit of salt and pepper, as well as some Mrs. Dash no salt seasoning, some powdered mustard, and I decided at the last minute that I would also add some French's mustard that you keep in your refrigerator, as well as some molasses. And the reason for the molasses is because I didn't have any brown sugar. So because of that, we had to make what we wanted, as well as just some regular granulated sugar. Now, you know, as always, we have to add some house seasoning because that's going to include our garlic powder, onion powder, and black pepper. That's our base. From there, we're going to add in some no salt seasoning, which is AKA Mrs. Dash. I'm going to add a teaspoon of that because it's got extra seasonings that my house seasoning doesn't have. Okay. I'm going to add about a teaspoon at least of smoked paprika. I like that smokiness. See if I can get that in there. Well, of course not. Okay, we're going to have to do it the hard way. If you like a nice smoky flavor, then certainly this is the way to go. Now I am going to use a spoon and get things kind of turned over. I'll give everything a zhuzh before we actually start cooking, because I want all of these ribs to have good seasoning. And I know you're thinking, well, you're only putting it on the top, but we're gonna zhuzh it around and make sure that everybody gets some of that seasoning. Okay, now also in this mix, I'm going to add some mustard, a little bit of powdered mustard, and I'm just going to sprinkle it in, just about a half teaspoon. That's going to add just a little extra touch. Going to kick up that flavor, and you know, barbecue ribs have a tendency to be just a little bit sweet, and we like them that way. I'm also going to add in about a teaspoon of Montreal steak sauce. Now, it does have salt, so keep that in mind. All right, here we go. The next thing, I'm going to add in some coconut aminos, about a 1/4 cup of coconut aminos. And typically, you'll put the aminos in to take the place of either soy or your Worcestershire sauce. But we're going to add in some Leon Perrin on top of that as well. And I had to open a new bottle today, so let's get that open. Give it a good shake. Let's get everything all zhuzhed. And there is nothing better than country ribs in the crock pot. That's the only way to fix them if you're not going to put them out on the barbecue pit. And we're not doing that today. Okay, so we're going to close it up. We're going to set this for low at 8 hours. And I'll see you in 8. All of our potatoes are ready to go. I use those little baby potatoes just because they cook very easily, and they're just nice little bite-sized pieces of potato. So we're going to put together some potato salad. I'm adding my potatoes to the water. Woo! Water's a little hot, but that's okay. I used probably about half a bag to 3/4 of a bag of the baby potatoes. And if you have a larger family, of course, you'll use more. Now, in this, we need to add a little bit of salt. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit in. This is real salt. Because potato salad without, our potatoes, period, without salt, yuck. Okay, so we're going to let these cook until they're tender. Shouldn't take long because they're small. So let's let these come to a boil. And I think I'll find a top and put right on top of this. All right, we're going to let it come to a nice boil, and it'll probably take about 10 minutes. I am putting together some quick pork and beans. And I thought, well, let me include that in the video because that is part of tonight's dinner. I thought I would do a grocery pickup, and that, and I did, and had a disaster when I got home. Just as I opened the door, I forgot, and I guess he did too when he put the groceries in, that he stood the bag up that my eggs were in. So the eggs were standing up like this. And of course, when the hatch went up, guess what? What was the first thing to fall out? My eggs. So I lost 12 eggs. I am so annoyed. I'm more annoyed with myself for not remembering to say to him, let me have the eggs, because that's usually what I do. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to quit fussing, and I'm going to get this green pepper cut up. I've already cut and placed into my little rice cooker, which I use a lot because it's quick. I've already placed in there an onion that I've diced, and I'm going to add a green pepper. The can, that's the thing about ordering online. You're guessing sometimes with the sizes. I looked at the can that they had and looked at the price and thought, oh, that's a good price. But I also know that very often for pork and beans that you will end up with something that is more individual size, which wasn't what I wanted. So I went with the next size up. Well, look at what I have. It's huge. This is a 3-pound, 5 ounces, 53-ounce can of Van Camp's. Van Camp's has the best pork and beans. So, I thought, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fix them, and going to get them ready because later in the month we have guests, and I thought, well, that'll be one thing I can go ahead, throw into the freezer, and that will be able to, I'll be able to bring that out and just put them on and let them warm up. So that saves a little bit of cooking time. So, when you have things like your pork and beans, you can make quick beans to take to a cookout, to a potluck, whatever it may be. Meat or no meat, it's up to you. That's up to you. So I'm putting in 1 entire green pepper in the bottom of the pan. And for those of you who know, you know that I'm kind of I'm watching my oils for the most part. And while, the oils don't seem to bother the big guy and the rest of the family, but they do seem to bother me. So I have to be very careful about how much of the oils that I eat. So this is my 1 green pepper. Then I'm throwing in, all that's done. Okay, so I'm going to get some bacon in. And what I'm going to do first is that I'm actually going to put it in the microwave, let it cook, and then place it into our baked beans. So, get this open. Get a paper plate. So hold on 1 second. Okay, paper plate in place. I'm going to put in as many pieces of bacon that I can get around this little paper plate. I'm starting out with 5 slices, and I think what I'll do is to actually cut it in half so that they will go in very easily onto this plate. Okay, so they're in half. I'll put them around the plate. And I'm going to cook all of this. That way the big guy will have, if he wants to fix a breakfast sandwich, he can. And I'm not responsible for that because breakfast is on him. And I don't usually prepare his breakfast. I usually sometimes do lunch when I'm generous with my time. But he usually handles that. So I'm going to get one more. Cut it in half and get those slices in. Okay, so I'm going to cover this with some paper towel, get it into the microwave. Then I'll be ready to add everything into this little rice cooker. The nice thing about the rice cooker, and I know some of you have commented, and you know, I'm okay if you comment, just be nice. Some people commented that I can't believe you're not adding any oil at the bottom where your vegetables are, and but they obviously must have been new, because for those of you who have been with me, you know that I've been watching those oils. And so I try to, I may add a little bit of water in, especially depending upon what I'm doing, but I let that water cook down with the vegetables. But it's not about burning the vegetables at the bottom. I like fried, but I don't like burnt. So I'm just going to say, you cook your pot the way you like, and I'm going to fix mine the way that's best for my family. Okay? Now, so paper towel, check. And this is going in the microwave. I've got it on for about 5 minutes, and while I'm waiting, I'm going to go ahead and get this open. I am still mesmerized by the size of this can, and certainly if I were preparing for an extremely large group and going to do this in a large crock pot, then I'd understand buying a size this big, but just for us, it is way too large. I'll know next time to read the fine print, which I didn't do. But it's all good. We're going to work it out, and we're not going to waste a thing. I'm actually going to pour some of the juices off because it's pretty liquidy. Okay. Now, I'm not ready to put these in just yet, because I am going to let the onions, the green peppers, and the bacon cook down here in the bottom. And I'm going to add some seasoning to it. You know, I've got to get in my house seasoning. I can go ahead and put that in. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of that. And if I need more, I can always put in a teaspoon of that. Add additional seasoning, but that's all I need for now. Of course, our no salt. A teaspoon of that. And I'm going to add in some dry mustard powder. I'm going to add a teaspoon of that. And I'll also add some regular mustard. Because you know you always have mustard in your baked beans. Okay. I'm going to give it a zhuzh of Lea & Perrin. Okay. And remember that Sweet Baby Ray. Some of this is going to go in there too. I'm just going to put a little in for now, just to give it some liquid. And we're going to give all of this a good stir. Now, like I said, for those who are new, you know that salt in excess is not our friend. And the unfortunate thing is that, salt is in everything. I don't think there's anything you can pick up that doesn't have that salt and some kind of sugar has not been added to. So when you're home cooking, you can avoid some of that. And I think if we start to do that, we might see some of our illnesses go away, you know? And so that's what I'm trying to do. Now, I'm going to start my rice cooker and let some of the onions and peppers and seasonings and all of that get happy in there. And then I'll break up some bacon and put a little bit, just a little bit of bacon in there. But I'm going to let the bacon drain, and I'm probably not going to use any more than one slice of bacon. Okay, I've got my bacon out, and it's nice and crispy. See, it's just cooked so nicely in the microwave. I put it in for 8 minutes, and that's what I got. Now, you know, all microwaves are not created the same, so you may have to adjust. So just keep an eye and keep your nose on guard, just in case. Now, I don't know if you can hear. Let's see if I can bring you in closer. Can you hear that sizzling that's going on down there in the rice cooker? That's exactly what I want. And I'm going to cut up a little bit of bacon and put it down in there, and then we're going to add the Van Camps and a little more seasoning. Now you're going to notice I'm handling my bacon with paper towel, and the reason for that is because of the fact it's still hot. And I'm just cutting up some of that bacon, being careful not to get the paper towel. Down at the end, we're not going to have a choice. I'm going to have to put the fingers on it. Okay, there we go. Now, let's get all of that stirred up. For those who talk frying, we got a little bit of frying, but it's not burnt. So, I'm happy with that. All right, let's add our can of Van Camp. And you know, we took some of the juice out because we didn't want it too juicy. Want to make sure you get everything out. Now, for those of you who like pineapple, you may want to add a little pineapple into this. I can't, even though I love it, but my granddaughter is highly allergic to pineapple. So pineapple cannot go into these baked beans. So I'm going to have to stick with brown sugar. But what I am going to do, I'm going to add a little touch of orange into it, just to give it a little fruity flavor, but it won't be the pineapple. Okay, so there we got this started. Now, let me get some brown sugar, and now I can't stick my finger in there, but we want some brown sugar. Now, I'm trying to work pretty much out of my pantry, and I noticed that I used up all my brown sugar when I was working the other day in the kitchen. Hadn't realized that. But anyway, we're going to add about a couple of tablespoons of regular sugar. And what did I do at the top? Okay. We're also going to add some molasses. You know, it's that time of the year where certain kinds of holiday cookies are made using molasses. Well, I try to do everything I can with that molasses while it's here. So there we go. We got some molasses. It's a good way to use it up. Give it a taste. It's going to be nice, and it's going to be juicy, but that's okay. Because remember, we're not just using it for today. Now, you know, I put in dry powdered mustard. And it may be that I may go back and just add a squish of good old regular household mustard that you might have in your refrigerator. But let me give this a taste. Oh my God, that is good. But it does need a little bit of mustard. So let me get that. Now we're going to put some regular, just French's mustard in this. And I'm going to give it a really good squish, probably about a tablespoon. Now you can certainly use less until you know how much you need. And you know, before I started, just being able to kind of eyeball what I wanted, then I'd put some in, give it a taste, put some in, give it a taste. But at this point, I've done it enough that I know how much I need. So I know I need a tablespoon of mustard. Okay, now let me give this another taste. Get a clean spoon and see where we are. That's good. All right, we got it. We added in our molasses. We just drizzled in about a tablespoon of molasses because I didn't have brown sugar. And if I'd had brown sugar, I still might have added a dash of molasses because molasses just adds a special flavor. It's a southern flavor that you like. So I'm going to put the top on this and let this baby cook. It took those beans about 30 to 35 minutes for everything to come together, for the flavors to be good. And just think about this. These beans could have been a make-ahead dish. We could have done them, put them into a safe container to either put in the refrigerator or even in the freezer, and then just brought them out to warm them up. So it is definitely a make-ahead dish. We could even have done the country ribs as a make-ahead dish as well. Had them all ready, baked them in advance, pulled them out of the freezer, warmed them up, and dinner would have been served. The only thing that couldn't be made ahead was the potato salad, as far as a real make-ahead dish. Now, of course, we could have done it a day or so in advance, but because it is always better, at least one day ahead. We have certainly enjoyed being in the kitchen together. It's always a lot of fun. Take a look at these country short ribs. Oh my goodness, they're falling off the bone. So I've got country ribs in the bowl. I also will add some tomatoes, put the potato salad on the tomatoes because that's how I like it, and add in some baked beans. Now, this is a nice dinner. It's got just enough of everything, and everyone's tummy is going to be full.